Good evening, all you folks out there in YouTube land. Thrash Pondo here, and I'm, as promised, I am present for the September 22nd live chat, 7:30 p.m. I'm a few minutes early. I always allow for the potential disaster. But anyway, I'm here and ready to go. And so far, no one else is here, although I'm sure you're all ready to go, whether you're here or not. And we have a winner. Lance is here and says, "Hey, Thrash. Lance, how are you doing, buddy?" Oh, and in answer to your question, tonight's trivia is going to be on James Earl Jones. Yes, I'm actually putting together not one, but I'm two. I'm putting together two posts that will feature the late, great James Earl Jones, at least in part. And while doing research, I came up with this like treasure trove of fun facts about James Earl Jones. So I decided to make tonight's trivia about him. Rachel in the 208 is here. Rachel says, "Hi, I'm here. You certainly are. And it's great to see you, Rachel." Tracy, nice that's twice. Twice on the same day, Tracy. Yes, we were on Tug's channel earlier, and Tracy, it was so nice to finally be on camera with you, Bubba. It was loads of fun. And Sister Sarah is here. My flock is everywhere. Hi, everyone. And Zuplex is here, and he also says hello. And Chin says, "Thrash, where's my wrench?" Well, you know what? I have a theory now that you mentioned it. I hadn't really thought of it. Your icon has gone from its normal blue to orange. Did you reopen your account or change it to do something? Maybe you're in a new account which doesn't have the wrench, but odd, isn't it? But that's my guess. Yeah, normally you show up. It's the same L icon but different color. And Sarah says, "Hey, Pawns, my brother," and hey to you too. And Christopher, oh my God, Chris is still suffering from COVID. Christopher, I hope you feel better, my brother. He says, "Good evening, Bob. Good evening to you too. Hope you're feeling better, by the way. I will be ready for you guys. Lady Gaga. Anyway, when you are feeling better and you're ready to come to Cape Cod, come by the restaurant and I will take very, 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 very good care of you." Zublik says, "Back to grandma glasses again." Yeah, Mrs. Thrash needed the other pair for something, and right before the show started, I said I need my glasses, and she handed me these. So yeah, I'm wearing granny glasses tonight. I think it gives me character. Danny's here. He says, "Greetings from South Carolina. I know you got company tonight. By the way, very, very, very nice of you to be able to stop in and join us, even though you are busy." And Lynn says, "Yeah, Thrash, my phone crashed." That explains it. Wajamin is here and says, "Hello, everyone. Hello to you, Wajamin, by the way. In fact, Danny, be a dear and give Wajamin a link, by the way. Love the stuff you put out, Wajamin." And I'm just going to skim down because a lot of people just saying hello to one another. Skim. Oh, they left early. Thank God. That's awesome. That's awesome. Glad you could make it. And let's see. Okay, guys, we have 9 people in the chat and 2 likes. We can do better than that, gang. We can do better than that. Come on, guys and gals. Guys and gals. We're just a groovy bunch of guys and gals. Anyway, hit the like, pretty please. Sugar on top. Oh, we're already up to 3. There you go. Tracy said, "I had so much fun with you guys today on Tug's channel. It was so great having you, by the way. Oh, and great picks, by the way, for spaceships, by the way. I never realized, well, of course, I'm a sci-fi fan, but I never realized just how many really cool spaceships there are. And it seems like every time we do this, somebody thinks of one that I never even thought of, by the way. So great job, very much. Fun being with you on the creative side." And Sarah says, "Was great, Pawns. Definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much." And let's just see what else we got going on here. Okay, we're 9 for 9. 999. I feel like a German commandant in one of those old war movies. And yes, we're basically up to speed. Oh, and now we're up to 11. We just jumped up. Hello to the 2 people who are here who haven't made their presence known. That, of course, is okay. But Zublik says, funny how Hollywood spaceships look nothing like the real thing. There's a certain amount of creative license there. John Doe is here, says, hey, Thrash. John, so good to see you, my man. Oh, and by the way, yes, I had one of those, was it JJ Arms? He was like a private eye superhero. It was an action figure back in the day. And his arms were interchangeable with other prosthetics. Crazy. But yeah, I had one of those, and that was great. No, and by the way, you're right. Everyone, so sad about Miss Crosby's passing. By the way, thanks for letting me know, John, and everyone else who did. A lot of people did. Ted let me know as well. By the way, Indy's bounces here and says your glasses remind me of Roz from Monsters Inc. Wazowski, don't forget to turn in your paperwork. I can see that. I can see that. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I think. But the bottom line is they help me read. So and I think they're just flaky enough to work for me. And Mr. Led is here. One was me, Bob, but I can't stay. Stay as long as you can. When you do leave, I give you free passage. Thank you for making it by, Mr. Led. It's always great to have you with us. My Flux says, okay, shared you out, Pawns. Thank you very much. And my flock is giving us links. Super duper. Denny says it was real spaceships, looked like the movie spaceships. They would probably work better. Um, Opinion is divided. Usually, Hollywood ships they're designed to just look cool, not be efficient. So, Tree said, "Yet 90 years old." Yes, Miss Crosby was 90 years old. She'd almost have to have been actually. I mean, Bing Crosby died forever ago. Thank you for the other links. Teb. Oh my gosh, Teb is here. By the way, welcome back, Teb. Teb is here. He says, Terrell Eugene Bellinger says, "Hello, Thrash. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you too." Lance Javen says, "Thrash, please give me a wrench again. Thank you. I will get to that in a minuet." Tom McCluskey is here and says, "I people." I, the people, in order to form a more perfect union. So glad to see you. John Doe says J.J. Arms was a real guy who rescued Marlon Brando's son, and he really had prosthetic arms. That's the only thing I know about him. If you have any more information, let me know. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know he was a real person until you told me. I remember the action figure, but until you told me of the man's passing, I didn't know he was a real person. And while we're at it, rest in peace, Mister Arms. Music. I'll come in again. Music and fun, etc., etc., etc. So it is written, so it is done, etc. Is here. It says, "Good morning slash evening, everyone. Good evening, morning slash day to you as well. By the way, love the stuff you've been putting out lately. MF and E. Please, someone drop a link." Oh, McCluskey says, "Thanks. You're quite welcome." Oh, Thomas says, "I love Schoolhouse Rock." Me too. I actually have the box set. What was it? What was on the subject? What was everyone's favorite? What was everyone's favorite? Because there were a few. There's like a top 10, but everybody, let me know what yours was because I'm sure everyone listened to it. Um, and my vlog is giving us another link. Thank you. A couple of them, it seems. Tracy says, "Same old Lance." And a lot of people having, I'm just a Bill. I'm just a Bill, and I'm just so. Why'd you mean Lance and Zublik say I'm just a Bill is their favorite? That's a really, really good one. Tom McCluskey said, got a convention soon with Richard Dreyfuss. Oh, that's super cool. Always wanted. He actually made a couple of movies up here in New England over the years. You know what? I think my favorite is "Rockin' and a Rollin', Splishin' and the Splashin' over the horizon. What can it be?" That's probably my favorite for history rock. You could actually break it up. There's like math rock. There's different ones, but I think that one's my all time favorite. Len says, "Conjunction Junction. What's your function?" Great one, great one. John Doe says Rocky and Bullwinkle in a steel cage match. Who wins? In a steel cage, it would be Bullwinkle because Rocky's flying ability would be minimalized. Tree says, Sarah, you have an infectious laugh. You made me laugh so hard. She really does. And John Doe says, question mark. And Rachel says, lolly, 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 get your adverbs here. I love that one. That was like an earworm. Oh, and Emily's here. It says, preamble of the Constitution. It's the only way I can remember it. We, the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Everyone's saying hi to Emily. Oh, Keebler, danger, no sugar coating. Truth is here. Keebler, welcome to the party, my friend Tracy and/or Denny. Please give Keebler a like and a link. You can link them and like them, or like them and link them. But I love the AI music you've been putting in late. Blah 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 blah. I've come to suck your blood, blood. Of course, Dracula never said that, but we are in Hallowmonth Eve. Remember, October is Hallowmonth, and September is Hallowmonth Eve. And what do you mean also this conjunction function? Emily saying hello to Lance and everyone. Tom said verb, that's what's happening. So when you're happy, hooray, or sad, aw, or excited, eek. An interjection. Interjection. Mother necessities. Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one. I love that one. Sarah's giving us links. Thank you. Hits Different is here. Hits Different is here and says, hey, Hits Different, welcome to the party. So glad you could make it. And a hey back to you. Everybody say hey to Hits Different. And you already are. So my friends are ahead of the curb. Chance is here from the Nostalgic Pod Blast. He says, hey, Thrash Pondo and chat. And a hey to you as well. Emily says, every month is Hallowmonth for some of us. And Daryl Jones says, Bob, other brother Daryl. So good to see you. Which he said, never heard of that, Robert, about Halloween. Well, you have now, my lady. You have now. And Mr. Lynn says, hello, everyone. Lost my chat box there for a bit, and now I really have to go. Was saying hi to Wedge, Kenneth, and Lance. And take care of yourself, Mr. Lynn. It's so great to see you. Just gonna skim down a lot of people saying hello to one another. Denny's giving them a link. Chance says, oh, hi to Tracy and more. John Doe says, Airwolf versus Blue Thunder. Who wins? Airwolf. I'm never going to bet against Jan Michael Vincent. Great gimmick, by the way. Mr. Lynn says, can't forget Daryl. Good night. Oh, of course. Who could forget Daryl? And a chance saying hey to Keebler. And he's about says, or frightened eek or mad rats. An interjection gets the sentence right. Len says, John Airwolf hands down. Precisely. Oh, Tom watched Magnum today. I have a box set somewhere. I haven't seen it in like forever. I need a splash of this store brand apple juice. I'm parched. Dare I call it apple juice? It's more like apple liquid. Let's just see what's going on here. A lot of people saying good night to Mr. Led and hello to everyone else. Sister Sarah speaking in emojis. But the gist of it is, please like and subscribe and forward. Yeah, that's another big thing, by the way. For everyone who subscribes, thank you for the subscription. But if you don't watch at least a few of my posts and preferably like and comment on those, the YouTube overlords think you're a bot and I lose the subscription. That happened with Chrissy. She got like 10 people to subscribe to me, and that was great. But There were no follow-ups, so I lost like 9 of them. It was heartbreaking. John Doe says, "Yeah, nah, you never bet against the lady." Fair enough, fair enough. No wrong answers here. And Rachel says, "Does anyone know if James Earl Jones' last appearance was the Big Bang Theory?" Hope that isn't a trivia question. It is not. It is a good question, though. I don't believe that was his last appearance, but I'm not sure. Indy for the win. But yes, tonight's trivia is going to be on James Earl Jones. Emily says, "I can't drink the clear apple juice." Well, that's not really clear so much as translucent. Tracy said, "Apple liquid." And Chan says, "Hey, gang. So, Heroes and Icons began airing all 5 seasons of The Fall Guy on Thursday and Sunday for the first time in the US since 1997 on Fox, but they are not airing 6 episodes. Why? Was Heather Thomas in a compromising position with Marky Post in those 6 episodes? I can dream, can't I? I'll just say, but my flex says, did I get everyone in channel? I'd like to think you did. I'd like to think you did. Emily says, wasn't coming to America to his last appearance. That doesn't sound right either. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I'm not sure. Once it's Sarah, mine okay. And Chan says, Heroes and Icons skipped the season 4 Fall Guy episode with Joaquin Phoenix. I did not know that. And Pablo goes on to say FX. Entry says, wasn't Mr. Uh, James Earl Jones married to someone Faye? He was married twice. His first wife he met while doing some play, Shakespeare play. And they divorced in like 72, I want to say. And then his second wife died of, I want to say heart disease, but that was years ago. Rachel says gross. Rachel, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I was just being my little scamp. Oh, famous. Gotcha. And Danny says James Earl Jones' last scene credit is Coming to America 2 from 2021. I defer to you, Emily. Thank you. And Pod Blast says Elvis music was one of the reasons. I'm sorry, was one of the reasons one of the 6 are not. Oh, one of the 6 is not airing. Now I'm with you. Yes. Yeah, copyright issues. That's what happened to like all the MST3K Godzilla movies. I don't know if they ever worked it out, but they never got the rights to continue using them. My fuck has been watching Ironside all day. I love that show. Emily says, I win. You certainly do. You're always a winner here, Emily. You're always a winner here. Tom says, my brother's friend was James Earl Jones, personal photographer. That's like cool squared. And Rachel says, Coming to America was forgettable. I forgot it. I must confess, I never saw the second one. Loved the first. I thought the first one was very funny. I did like the first one. I thought it was very. Pod Blast is saying cool to my flock. And Lee Spout says, I think Coming to America 2 was his last movie. Did he voice Vader in Obi-Wan? No, I don't believe he did. Lance says, you always win. And John Doe says, for the past 10 days, there was the San Gennaro. I went 2 times this year. Cool. And thank you for the link, Sarah. And Emily says, except on Bob's trivia nights. You've been doing really well on those, Emily. You've been doing very well lately. Tracy says, my DVD of WKRP in Cincinnati has Philly music where the real music used to play. Yeah, that's happened a lot actually. One in particular, there's actually an episode of the Monkees where and it's all Monkees music, but they had to in one episode they had to change the music for reasons never made clear to me. And he says the lack of original music is why I passed on getting the WKRP in Cincinnati box set. And music says James Earl Jones' last acting credit seems to be Obi-Wan Kenobi in the TV series. Okay, that's twice I've been wrong so far. And I'm doing James Earl Jones trivia tonight. Oh, well, we have fun. You can't win them all either. You can't win them all now, can you? And Paul Blast says one of the stars, Barbara Anderson, was fired from Ironside. She was the blonde from original Star Trek episode. Really? Really? I did not know that. That's a Conscience of the King. And Emily says, Tracy, they did the same thing to reruns of Charmed and Supernatural. It sucks. I believe it. And Zubik says, why the nostalgic? Why was she fired? I'm guessing he's asking. Lynn says he has 14 seasons of Supernatural. Wow. And Tracy's agreeing it really does suck. And John says, forgive me if I get it wrong again. Gennaro Fest. I forgot to put Fest. Largest San Gennaro Fest in all of America happens in New York. Yeah, was that the one I remember you were talking about that last year. But I hope you're having a good time. The entertainment headquarters is here. He says, hello, Thrash Pondo and everyone. Kevin, so nice of you to make it. Please give the entertainment headquarters a link. And Keith E is here, and he is like number 15. Keith E, you're always like number 1 to me, but so glad you could make it. And we actually have 20 people in and 15. So other 5, get with the program, people. And well, welcome, Keith E. And he says to Emily, I think I'm good on Carry On Wayward Son for a while. Carry on, my wayward son. And Pablo says Barbara Anderson of Ironside played the psycho Lenore Caridian, and she was in a very first episode of $6 Million Man. 8 equals 90 minutes, a TV movie, Cyborg. Don't know off the top of my head, but I may have seen it over the years. And Emily says, Lance, does the box set have the original soundtrack? And Kevin asks, how's everyone doing? So far, so good. And I will be in touch with you this week, Kevin. Last week got away from me, but I will be in touch about upcoming projects. Tarantula, I believe, is the one we settled on. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Tracy said, message retracted. And a message retracted to you too, Tracy. And Chen says money and set drama was why she was fired. So she wanted more money, and there was some type of negative drama on the set. Sarah's giving us a link. John Doe says, yes, you said it correctly, Thrash. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was like winging it. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. Everybody say hi, Mrs. Thrash. And Emily says, I might have to break down and buy the set eventually. And Jen says, hi to Kevin. And Zubik says, always money issues and drama. Money issues and drama. Let's just see. Kevin says, Thrash, are you looking forward to the new Salem's Lot? I just heard about it. In fact, I think I heard about it from your channel, but yes, I certainly am. I certainly am. I love the old one too. Did we ever figure out what the drama was with that? It was supposed to be released for Halloween, and they didn't release it for months later. Ellen says, and got all seasons of Game of Thrones. And Chen says, apologies for my typos. No worries. I tend to read phonetically. I figure as I read them, we'll figure out what you mentioned. Oh, and John Doe says, what's the trivia for tonight? James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones trivia. And Keith is saying, thank you to my flock. He appreciates this. And Emily says, I've never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones. I actually binge watched it during COVID. Mixed feelings on it, but overall, I enjoyed it. And Kevin says, message retracted. And Kenneth says, good evening to Entertainment Headquarters. And Sarah saying, you're welcome. And everyone's saying hi to Mrs. Thrash. And I almost, if I blocked you, by the way, whoever it was, I'm sorry. I double clicked the screen and I always brings up that option to, do you want to report, block, blah? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything. Leave me alone. No. And then he says to the entertainment headquarters, I'm not sure how they'll ever recover from the lack of charisma that David Soul brings to the table. Well, the whole cast. I mean, the whole cast of that Silms lot was great, but uh let's just see what else. Oh, and Keith E says hello, Kenneth. Good to see you. John Doe says there's a bunch of videos about it on YouTube if you want to peep it. Um, that's actually not a bad idea. I know there was some problem. In fact, I vaguely remember a story, but I can't quite remember what that is. I've heard so many anecdotes; it's hard to keep them all straight. And Giebler says, "Mrs. Thrash, don't give me directives I don't like." Hi, LOL. Oh, it was more of a suggestion. I wasn't ordering anybody to say hi to Mrs. Thrash, but your nice sentiment is nice. Oh, she likes your work too, by the way. I've shown her some of your AI posts, and Chan says the new Matlock is on the way, starring Kathy Bates as Matlock. Ooh, I can see that. I can see that. Tracy says hi to Keith. My flag is laughing at Keebler or laughing at what she said. Tom, not at her. We would never laugh at Keebler. No, I'm sorry, Keebler. Tom McCluskey said met David Prowse, Darth Vader, and Jeg. Yes, he is Jeg. Is he not? And Lance is giggling at something Sarah said, and Emily says supposedly she's retiring after this chance. Oh, that would make sense. And John Doe says answer. Name someone who did not play Spock. Someone who did not play Spock. Well, okay, that's any number of people. Lance Kerwin. Lance Kerwin did not play Spock. And Zublik says, how many chatters are familiar with James Earl Jones trivia? You most of my questions are pretty mainstream. Some of the other ones you would know if you paid attention to stuff I've talked about, but I'm sure people will do reasonably well, and all of them are guessable. All of them are guessable. And Keebler says nothing. She jumped off the page. I'm trying to fall behind again. Well, actually, not too far at this point. But Keebler says, I found out that doing a rant gets you views back. LOL. Really? My ranting draws raves. Thanks for the tip. I might actually try that. There's certainly plenty to rant about. Emily says, can you undo the block? Well, that's the thing is I don't think I blocked anybody. And if I did block somebody, they can't tell me they're blocked. I don't think I did it because I double clicked the screen and then I touched outside of the screen, which usually makes the screen go away. But I'm just making sure I didn't hurt somebody's feelings. And he says, just testing to see if you nuked me, Bob. Yes, everyone leave a comment. And if you can, then you're not. And Kevin says, yes, Thrash, we will, when everyone is available, be doing Tarantula 55. And Kenneth Christopher Wilkins says, the only thing I know about James Earl Jones is he with the voice of Darth Vader. Well, you just gave away one question. I'm kidding. And Tracy says, the computer's blocking reminds me of Do You Want to Play a Game? Do you want to play a game? Open the Power Bay doors, Hal. Or Corbin the Forbin Project. Corbin the Forbin Project? Colossus the Forbin Project. Corbin was a comic writer. And Keith says, hello to everyone. And it says, then it goes on to say hello to Tom, who's, I guess, not a part of everyone. And so is Chance. He's all saying hi. And same here. Pross was cool. I've never met him, but I heard he was very cool. He was the male nurse in Clockwork Orange. Yes, the bodybuilding dude that helps the guy after he's crippled by Alex. Yeah, that's David Prowse. And Keebler says, thanks, I have done really silly ones coming this week. Never ask certain people for ideas. I don't know. It sounds like a challenge to me. And Rachel says, nothing. She jumped off the page. We will never turn the page. She says, "Did anyone see James Earl Jones and Angela Lansbury in Driving Miss Daisy on PBS? It was so good. R.I.P. to both." I never saw that, but I'm surprised I hadn't heard of it. And Pod Bless said Richard Pryor was never Spock. Richard Pryor was never Spock. You are correct. And Lance says, "Oh, okay, Danny, I will stop promising. Sorry." And Zublik says, "The only thing I know about Mr. Jones is Great White Hope, Conan, and Star Wars." Well, those were his three best movies. Yeah, no, I'm going to stand by that. Those are the three best movies. And Kevin says, "I'm 50-50 with the new Salem's Lot. Everyone seems upset with it not giving characters enough development. Remember, the original was a three-part miniseries. This new one is a 2-hour movie." Yeah, it's really hard to trim King down like that, but you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. I will give it a shot. Emily says all questions are questionable. Some guesses can even be reasonable. And I don't know what the girls are making in the kitchen, but it smells fantastic. I'm sorry, I just get distracted. I'm like, there's something in the kitchen that smells delicious. Um, and John Doe says, fun fact, Thrash never played Spock. Yes, I did actually. Yes, I did. In episode 267 of TOS, in the baby Vulcan, where they go back in time and you find Spock as a baby, you'll see a 2.5-year-old Thrash with Vulcan ears. And I play the infant Spock. And Sarek tries to throw me off a cliff. And it shows what you know. But anyway, um, uh, as my actual father also tried to do. And Shan, I'm sorry, Dada Pops, I'm just being a smartass. And Shan says Agatha all along on Disney Plus is getting pinned. Yeah, I heard that. I'm like, I mean, I hadn't planned on watching it anyway, but like, wow, haters are coming out of the woodwork. And Kevin says, Emily Miller, yes, I am the entertainment headquarters. He certainly is. And Teb says, this summer was pretty tough for us because we lost so many amazing celebs, from Shelley Duvall to Shannon Doherty to Bob Newhart to James Earl Jones. Yes, there was a lot of heavy casualties this past summer. And chances have not seen Agatha yet. Benjamin says, I never played Spock either. That's okay. You still have time. And Emily says, "Good, Kevin is easier to type." And John Doe said, I mean, I'm sorry, Indy says to John Doe, but he sure could have played Cyrano Jones. Ah ha ha ha. Touche, touche. Harcourt Mudd, too, probably. And a much later Scotty. And moving forward, oh, Lance has jumped off the page. I'll go back to it. Um, Len says, Thrash, do the wrench thing when the show ends. Thanks, bro. I will. And Emily says, did anybody watch The Penguin? I haven't. Although Mrs. Thrash wants to watch it. And Chance hasn't yet either. And Kibble says, if you don't see me after Monday evening, it's going to be because Chance or Corey unveiled me for a song. Oh, unalived you for a song. I hope neither one of them do that. I hope they rather unveil the song. And Zubik says Pamela Sue Anderson never played Spock. Dr. Spock, yes. Ah, very good, very good. And Tom says Pros played Julian. And then Luna says, Chance, I really liked it, but my wife thought it was boring. Oh, I'm sorry. And Chance says, does she like Joker? Goes on to say the new Joker movie. The new Joker movie looks really interesting to me, by the way. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And Chance mentions Barbed Wire and Tank Girl. I don't. Uh, did I see Barbed Wire? I'm not sure. And Emily jumped off the page, but I think I'm catching up. Um, Emily says, y'all gonna tell me y'all didn't know he was Mufasa from The Lion King? Oh, of course, everyone knows that. That's not even a trivia question, which I really should get to. So I'm just gonna catch up here really quick. And Emily says, not really chance, but I did. Um, Everyone's telling him yes, he was. Tom says the original Salem's Lot. The original Salem's Lot scared me as a child. Yeah, the floating vampire kid. Yeah, that freaked me out when I was a kid. Sarah says, LOL, of course, Pawns, LOL. And he says, I like James Earl Jones on The Big Bang Theory. I don't think I ever saw that episode. And Emily says, yes, Zuper and his wife coming to America was his female mate in The Lion King. I did not know that. That I did not know. Tracy admits that she never played Spock. There's plenty of time. Lance says, James' dad was in sleepaway camp. I think I knew that. I think I knew that. As Zuper says, you learn something new every day. And Danny says, when we were kids, we played Star Trek all the time. I was usually Kirk, but Spock occasionally. Um, I think I was usually Scotty. And Kevin says, on my channel in October, I am dedicating the channel to vampires, and it's Taste the Blood month. I also am heading to Romania to visit Bram's castle. Wow, that is so cool! Uh, the castle that inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula. That is so cool. And John Doe says, who was on Star Trek TOS but became an adult film star in the 60s and 70s? That would be I know her. I know the name. She was in Repo Man too. Died recently. Um, Petty John, Angela Petty John. Let's go with that. Um, and he says, I thought of five better movies of his than three you mentioned earlier, but I don't want to spoil the trivia. Okay, all right. Yeah, he did do some great movies, so possibly. Chances I once shaved the sides of my eyebrows in high school to play Spock. True story. I believe it. I could see you as Spock. No chance. I can see that. I can see you as Spock. And then he says we had a D and D style Star Trek game, role playing game thing. I actually, a friend of mine had one. He had a scenario. He didn't know like the whole. It was like one of those like scenario sets, and it involved the Gorn, and we were going to play it, and we never get around to it. And I think it was his brothers, and his brother threw it away, and I was very disappointed. But I remember the Star Trek role playing game from the Angelique Petty John judges. Judge, will you give me Angela Pettyjohn? Is that close enough? But yes, Miss Pettyjohn, rest in peace. And chances actually, I was just a random Vulcan. Well, judges will accept that. And remember, you can match a specific with a general because Spock was a Vulcan. And Sarah says, I saw a Tank Girl trailer at Star Trek convention in 8th grade. Mixed feelings on Tank Girl, but overall, I thought it was a pretty. I had fun watching it. And he says, Pablo, did you dye your blood green like they do for the Chicago River on St. Pat's Day? Probably not, but can you name an Earth creature that has green blood? I can. And Kevin says, what are people thoughts on the Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice. Mrs. Thrash wants to see it. I haven't heard much about it though. Oh my god, Scott is here and says, hey, did I miss trivia? No, you're actually timing is perfect. As soon as I'm caught up, we will have the trivia. I'm almost caught up. Almost so I'm just gonna skim through. Actually, no, wow, I'm way behind. Oh no, here we are. So I'm gonna kind of skim down really quickly. Thank you for the link, Danny. So it says mummy, mummy. I thank you for the link, Sarah. A lot of people saying hi to Scott. Good to see you again, Scott. Definitely. And he says, Harold the Hatter, you're good. Please tell me you plan on sleeping in that hat. It's a great hat, by the way. Keith says 802. It's now 806. John Doe says Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. I'd skip it. Waste of time. It's a really bad remake. Oh, that's too bad. And he says Angelique Petty John. And he did it twice for Halloween. And he says I did it. Not Indy. Chance I did it twice for Halloween. I used food coloring to dye my skin green to portray the Hulk. Tom says Grace Whitney. Yes, 803. Scott says Chekhov was an adult film star. I didn't think so. Uh, Rachel said I love William Shatner. Oh, that's a good question. Where's Tug at? John Doe says she played a warrior slave girl with a shock collar in one episode. The Game Masters of Triskelion. It's actually one of my favorite episodes. And Tom says met Shatner twice. First time he was a jerk. Oh, I see. Was a kangaroo in Tank Girl. Zublik says, and the second time, he's probably less of a jerk. And Emily says, everybody using uh, pseudonyms in chat, but people be talking to them using their real names. And I'm over here like, who blank are they talking to? It does get a little confusing, I will grant you. And yeah, Lori Petty, her career did tank. She wasn't even supposed to play Tank Girl. There was an original cast who bailed. They got Lori Petty at the last minute, and when the movie bombed, they blamed her. And I don't think, even though she wasn't really Tank Girl from the comics, I don't think it was her fault. And he says, quite a few have green blood, Bob. Give your locale. I'm going with lobster. Lobsters have green. I was going to say horseshoe crab. Horseshoe crab. But lobsters might too. I hadn't given it much thought. And Tracy says, LOL, only back home in Chicago. Mickey Sue's 4. Today is his 59th birthday. Mickey Sue's 4, happy 59th. And welcome to the party. So glad you could make it. And Kevin says, I always wanted to be an officer in Star Trek in the Red Who Dies, LOL. In every episode of the original series, you knew who was going to die, LOL. Yeah, my made up pop band is called Captain Kirk and the Red Shirts. A lot of people saying hi to Scott. Indy says it's Game Masters, not Game Masters. Gamesters of Transkelion? I defer, yes, the Gamesters of Transkelion. Thank you. Oh, and look who's here, Tug. He's saying hi to everybody. And Mickey says Dennis Hopper was better in Tank Girl. I don't even remember Dennis Hopper. I remember Malcolm McDowell in Tank Girl. I don't remember Dennis Hopper in Tank Girl. I remember Dennis Hopper in Straight to Hell. And he says, "Wow, speak of the devil and the devil appears." I know, really. And John Doe says, "Tank Girl is great if you're not in a sober mind." I can see that. Oh, and Mickey says, "Thank you to Trash." And Denny has given us a link. And Tracy says, "Red shirts." And only 257 is here. Excellent. Welcome to the party. Just in time for trivia. Says, hi, Wes. The Wicker Man was great. Yes, I like the original. I don't like the remake, but and Mickey says, I meant Malcolm McDowell. Sorry. No, honest mistake, but I do remember him from Tank Girl. And Rachel says Dennis Hopper was in Blue Velvet. Yes, he was in Blue Velvet. He played a psycho in that too. But he has a walk on in Straight to Hell. And Tug says, I'm more of a lesser demon, but I appreciate the flattery. Excellent. And Chin says, yes, 257 Wicker Man with Britt Eklund. Yes, and she sure was in that. And 257 says, that was what I was meant. Excellent. And Mickey says Hopper was in Waterworld with Costner, though. Bad movie, but I did like his performance in it. And Emily Miller says, Tug, I'll put in a good word for you. We'll see about getting you up. You know what? I'm gonna have to stop the conversation here, by the way, because it's 8:10 and I really want to get to the trivia. And I know a lot of people start chomping at the bit when it's trivia time. So if I miss anyone's comments, please forgive me. They'll be lost in time and lost in space, but at least you'll have the trivia game. And again, it's on James Earl Jones. And as always, I shall read them to you in no particular order. Number 10. Which former U.S. president quipped that Mr. Jones had the most recognizable voice in the country? I actually didn't know this one. Usually I don't give questions I didn't know the answer to, but I thought this one was so cool I did anyway. Was it President Barack Obama, President Bill Clinton, President George W. Bush, or President George Bush Sr.? I shall repeat. Which former U.S. president quipped that Mr. Jones had the most recognizable voice in the country? Was it A, President Barack Obama, B, President Bill Clinton, C, President George W. Bush, or D, President George Bush Sr.? Eisenhower, Nixon. Tug says I actually believe any of them. Yeah, this one was tricky. That's why I think the answer was so cool. And he'll say I'll say Obama because he talked most about pop culture. Bush Senior's is second. Yeah, a lot of people are guessing Barack Obama, which is a good guess. It's wrong. It was actually George W. Bush, believe it or not. In an interview or something, someone said to him that the president had the most recognized, the sitting president has the most recognized voice in the country. And he just quipped, he goes, better not say that in the presence of James Earl Jones. So, yes, George W. is actually the answer to that. So we're kind of starting off on the back foot, but that's okay, people. We'll move on to number 9. In order to keep this mega spoiler a secret, during the rehearsals of uh, The Empire Strikes Back, Vader supposedly said this. Was it A, no, Obi-Wan killed your father? B, no, Obi-Wan is your father? C, no, Uncle Owen was in fact your father? Or D, no, Chewbacca was your father? I shall repeat. In order to keep this mega spoiler a secret, during the rehearsals of The Empire Strikes Back, Vader supposedly said this. No, Obi-Wan killed your father. B, no, Obi-Wan is your father. C, no, Uncle Owen is your father. Or D, no, Chewbacca is your father. And thank you, Tom. I was hoping somebody would pick D. And Kevin says, Thrash, take care, my buddy. It's currently 1:11 a.m. in the UK, so I need to go to bed, but I wanted to make sure, the effort to say hi and support your channel. Take care. Also, everybody have a good week. Kevin, have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us. And get some rest. And Music says, that was the first ever film I saw at the cinema. Wow. Wow. That's a really amazing film to start with. I would have been 12 or 13. I think my dad took me to see it for my 13th birthday. John knows is where my sausages. As the book says, no, Princess Leia is your father, you white ass. According to anecdotal evidence, it was no, Obi-Wan killed your father. The correct answer is A. In fact, David Prowse, I saw in an interview once ages ago, and supposedly he said that's what they had him say. So when he saw it in the theaters, he didn't even know what the spoiler was. Oh, by the way, the spoiler: Darth Vader is Luke's father. Moving on to number 8. In preparing for his role as Thulsa Doom, or is it Tulsa Doom? Either way, Thulsa Doom, Mr. Jones used this real life bad guy as a model. A, Charles Manson. B, Jim Jones. C, George Lincoln Rockwell. Or D, O.J. Simpson. I shall repeat. In preparing for his role as Thulsa Doom, Mr. Jones used this real life bad guy as a model. A. Charles Manson, B. Jim Jones, C. George Lincoln Rockwell, or D. O.J. Simpson. And John Doe says, source Thumb Wars. I love Thumb Wars. I thought that was hysterical. Entry says, I'm not listening and learning tonight because I do not know any of these answers. Tracy, quite all right. Quite all right. Thank you for just appearing. Appearing. John Doe says John Lennon. No, but I'm going to be referring to John Lennon in a later work this week. Benjamin says, hello, snark. And he says, you probably should have more accurately labeled this James Earl Jones bio trivia. Oh, I didn't say it was necessarily about his works. I said it was about him, bio trivia. It sounds like a horror movie, bio trivia. Oh, I see. Snark Sass is here. Snark Sass, hello. I thought what you mean said the question was snarky. I gotcha. Hello, Snark Sass. Welcome to the party. So glad you could make it. We're about 8 deep in trivia. Well, we're at question 8, which is the third question. But please feel free to play along, and you always catch up with the first 2 questions on replay. Zippity poobah to you too, by the way. And anywho, the correct answer is in fact Jim Jones. B. Number 7. And even if you didn't see it, I was talking about this all last week. This World War III themed flick was Mr. Jones's film debut. Was it A, Dr. Strangelove, B, Fail Safe, D, The Bedford Incident, or D, Ladybug, Ladybug? And I think I said B twice, so we'll try this again. This World War II themed flick was Mr. Jones's film debut. Was it A, Dr. Strangelove, B, Fail Safe, C, The Bedford Incident, or D, Ladybug, Ladybug? Ooh, music went for Bedford Incident. Tom's like, oh, for 4. Sorry. Wait for a few more answers to pop in. Oh, Cindy's here. Oh my God. Cindy D, welcome to the party, my lady. And I'm so glad you popped in for the trivia. And yes, you are correct. Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. He plays Lothar Zog, I think the character's name is. But he plays one of the bomber crew. Number 6. And after 6, we'll get scores, such as they are. Number 6, which of these famous Shakespearean characters did Mr. Jones not portray? So he did not play this character on stage. Was it A, Romeo, B, Othello, C, Hamlet, or D, King Lear? Oh my gosh, House of Alex is here. Hey everyone. Oh my God, House of Alex. Where you been, bro? It's been like way too long. We were worried about you. Hope everything is going well, and welcome back. And welcome to the second part of the trivia. Here, let me repeat number 6. So you're actually 60% of the trivia. Which of these famous Shakespearean characters did Mr. Jones not portray? It's James Earl Jones trivia tonight. Was it A, Romeo, B, Othello, C, Hamlet, or D, King Lear? I sure hope it's not Romeo. And Chen says, in what movie was the character of James Earl Jones portrayed get it's Thulsa Doom from Conan, and that could have been one of my trivia questions, but that's a great scene. It's not, that's why I have no trouble answering it. And House of Alex's apologies just been off the radar for a while. All good this end though. I'm glad everything's going okay. I more than understand. Sometimes you just need to pull back. But I'm glad you're here tonight, by the way. And how about some scores? John Doe says Spock is Helmet Cole. Um, and Chan says sorry. No, I was just busting on you, Chance. Don't worry about it. It was a joke. If that was one of the answers, I wouldn't have said anything. Rachel is 5 of 6. That would be 5 of 5, I believe. And Chan says, "Yep, Conan the Barbarian, first live action Marvel movie in 1982. It was the first Marvel. I always forget that, but thank you for reminding me." Sydney says the answer. Oh, I'm sorry, Romeo. Oh, I thought it when when Indy says, "I hope it's not Romeo." I thought I was like, "Yeah, it's not Romeo." No, he never played Romeo. And thank you, Cindy. I My mind is wandering tonight. Tom McCluskey said maybe one, close enough. Indy, I'm sorry, only 2 out of 7 is 3 of 10 so far. What do you mean says, what was the answer? Romeo, and I'm sorry, I thought I mentioned that. Tracy is 0 of 5. Tracy, I'm sorry. No worries. No, I mean to put you on the spot. You're awesome. Rachel is 4 of 5. Zublik says you didn't provide the answer to the question 6. Romeo. Tug is 3 of 5. Emily is 3 of 5. Wajamin is 5 of 5. Zublik says 2 out of 4. But now you know what number. Now you know what the answer to the last one was, so you can amend your score appropriately. And he says, speaking of German chancellors, did you know daylight savings time was invented by Konrad Adenauer? I'd be lying if I said I did. I understand, but I did not know that. Um, Mickey is 3 of 2. Or do you mean you got 3 right and 2 wrong? Cindy is 2 for 2, then LOL. Tab is 4 of 5. John Doe says Conan is not a Marvel property, so it wasn't the first Marvel movie. The first Marvel movie was Blade. There's a synchronicity there. I can't remember what it was, John, but oh, House of Alex is 0 of 5, and about 20 quizzes late. And Cindy says, "Wherefore art thou thrash?" LOL. Um, what light beyond what window? Behold, what light beyond window breaks. It is east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun. And I was I did something that my freshman high school teacher didn't like, so he actually made me remember the Romeo speech and give it before the class. But that's been a little while. He also had me do E. Cummings. Maggie and Millie and Molly and May went down to the beach to play one day. I laughed when he recited that, so he made me memorize it and recite it in front of the class. I really should have stopped sassing him. Um, but there you have it. What I do remember is 'twas brillig, and the slithy toes, the gyre and gimble in the wabe. All Mimsy were the borogoves, and Mome the wrasse outgrade. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long did the maxim foe he sought. And I better start right there. I'm going to get a copyright ding. And anyway, to answer your question, Sydney, I'm right here. Hey. And Jimmy says, that is my score. I think answer question 9. And he says, it's a joke, Bob. Say his last name again. I've actually forgotten what we were talking about. Oh, Konrad Adenauer. I was wondering what the Germans were doing. I mean, like, I understand, like, England was the one who set Greenwich time, but anyway. Now I don't feel so stupid not having known that. Thank you, Indy. Of course, I feel stupider knowing that it's was a joke. And Mickey says, yes, 3 right, 2 wrong. And Cindy's thinking wedge. And Zublik says, damn, you're autocorrect. I didn't answer question 9. Oh, I see. Well, next time, try harder. And Cindy says, a rose by another name would smell as sweet. And Doug says, friends, Romans, countrymen, send me your beers. Haha. Those images will be gone now. Like beers down the drain. Tom's like, not my beer. In heaven, there is no beer. On Cape Cod, there is no veal. That's why the sharks eat seal. And when that's lost its appeal, shark steaks will replace every meal. Eins, zwei, and I'm so gone off the deep end. So I'm going to pick up now with question 5. And this is you can guess this one. According to IMBD, Mr. Jones appeared on the number of Simpsons this many times. Was it A1, B2, C3, or D4? You sank my battleship. I shall repeat. According to IMBD, Mr. Jones appeared on The Simpsons on this many of occasions. A1, B2, C3, or D4? Oh, C3. C3PO. It's like in 4th grade when you're doing long division, or actually it's short division because you don't carry it all the way to the decimal point. You just do R2. You know, R2D2. Anywho, answers are still pouring in. Somebody says seep. Seep, and you shall find. John Doe says E5. You say my battleship. Yeah, there you go. Tug says thrash drink random juice tonight. Store brand apple liquid. Yes. And see if anyone give another minute because the answers are still pouring in. And Simple says nope, CP. I get it, CP. Anyway, the correct answer is 3. C. He appeared 3 occasions. Treehouse of Terror, the one where Bleeding Gums Murphy dies, and another one. Number 4. Back in the days of Citizens Band radios, Mr. Jones's handle was what? A. The Great White Hope. B. Darth Vader. C. Thulsa Doom. Or D. Lothar Zog. I shall repeat. Back in the days of Citizen Band Radio, Mr. Jones's handle was what? Was it A. The Great White Hope. B. Darth Vader. C. Thulsa Doom. Or D. Lothar Zog. Tom says, no idea. Oh, you can guess. Hey, I'm guessing there, you see. The answers seem to be all over the place, but Zerbook says, dude. He actually told this story. I actually saw him. I was I got this from a trivia question somewhere. It was a fun fact about James Earl Jones. But I saw him. He was actually well. I'll wait till I actually rubber duck. Someone says, "What kind of question is that?" Multiple choice. Anyway, the correct answer is Darth Vader, and I'll have you know he actually he was doing an episode of Carolyn's Comedy Hour. This would have been some time ago, and he told a story about he was driving cross country and he went on the CB in his Darth Vader voice and went to a truck stop and he heard some of the truckers talking about hearing this guy pretending to be Darth Vader on the CB radio, and he told the story about how did anyone else see the weird blinking lights in the sky back there? It was kind of spooky, and so he says my dad was a trucker. Really? What was his handle? But anyway, yes, it was Darth Vader, and he actually used to go on the CB radio in his Darth Vader voice. And he says, give me a moment to think of all the CB handles of famous people that I know. All right, valid. Well, it's just a fun fact about James Earl Jones, and I did hear him tell the story once. So, and again, you could have guessed what. I mean, while those are all great movies, which character is most known for his voice? With apologies to Mr. Prouse. Anyway, moving on to question 3. We're almost done, folks. I can taste it. Oh, and Darth Vader, by the way, because last time I forgot to give you guys the answer, and you guys were mean to me. But anyway, number 3. At one time, Mr. Jones gave a memorable performance. I'll come in again. Mr. Jones gave a memorable performance in this otherwise forgettable, low budget post apocalyptic film. And I've also talked about this on several occasions, so show me if you're paying attention. Was it A, The Idaho Transfer, B, A Boy and His Dog, C, City Limits, or D, The Quiet Earth? And I shall repeat. Mr. Jones gave a memorable my speech impediment's coming back. Mr. Jones gave a memorable performance in this otherwise forgettable low budget post apocalyptic flick. Was it A, The Idaho Transfer, B, A Boy and His Dog, C, City Limits, or D, The Quiet Earth? Tom McCluskey says no clue. A lot of people picking D. Zublix picked B. I think that was deliberately trying to hurt my feelings. I said forgettable. And Tug says, LOL, I've started keeping memorable out of my scrapbook when making videos. So me and Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones. Loved that song when I was a kid, even though I didn't understand what he was singing about. Still don't, actually. Emily says, I'm just guessing y'all don't follow my lead. When have I not? A lot of people guessing D. Rachel for the win. Yes, it's City Limits. Don't you guys remember I was talking about City Limits only last week? And how it was a great premise, but not a great movie. It had no budget. But Mr. Jones had a small part in it and gave a very memorable performance. He like many other actors, even when it was a small, forgettable part, he still really gave it his all. Number 2. And if you guys don't get this one, I'm going to be, I don't know, I'm going to be surprised. Once portrayed this famous man of letters. A, Paul Laurence Dunbar. B, W.E.B. Du Bois. C, Alex Haley. Or D, Aldous Huxley. And I rush to say it before you do. There's one in there that you can certainly disregard, but I'll repeat anyway. Once portrayed this famous man of letters. A, Paul Laurence Dunbar. B, W.B. Du Bois. C, Alex Haley. Or D, Aldous Huxley. City does not push. City Limits. Different work of work. And Trey says we got a thing going on. 257 says MST3K made fun of it. I've never seen the MST3. That's all, folks. I've never seen the MST3K version of City Limits, but I heard about it. So when I was doing some research, I did hear that they did do it. In fact, fun fact. You just made me think of a fun fact. Fun fact. It actually has a pretty good cast. One of them is what is her name? The woman she went on to do Sex in the City. One of the co-stars of Sex in the City, and Crow sings a song to her in one scene. She was so touched, she sent him a thank you note. So yes, I did. I've heard of it. I've never actually seen it. John Doe says Kim Jong Un. Oh, Tina Turner. You think he played Tina Turner? Is Tina Turner a man of letters? Um, and Cindy D says I loved him on Claudine with Diane Carroll. Jibril says Sarah Jessica Parker. No, one of the co-stars. I'll know anything like a shot when I hear it, but I can't think of it at the moment. No, it's not Stockard Channing. Only 257 says MST3K episode of City Limits was hilarious. Good riffing, good host segments. Pawns. I'll see if I can find it on YouTube because I I just saw the movie again actually because I'm actually going to review it. And who is the? Oh, she was one of the co-stars. She was Kim Cattrall. Thank you. I should have just asked you outright, Indy. Yes, Kim Cattrall. Yes, thank you. And my flag's even another link. Thank you. And Cindy says, no, not Bush City Limits is a Tina Turner song. I know, Cindy, I was joking with you. I'm a huge Tina Turner fan. I'm a bigger Tina Turner fan than Brian Adams. I know that's saying something, huh? But the correct answer is yes. It's Alex Haley. He plays Mr. Haley in the sequel to Roots, Next Generation. I believe it was called, but yes, he plays Alex Haley, not Aldous Huxley. And the number one question is, ironically, I can't speak. In his youth, Mr. Jones suffered from this issue. Was it A, debilitating social awkwardness, B, a profound fear of the dark, C, a speech impediment, or D, ADHD? I shall repeat. In his youth, Mr. Jones suffered from this issue. Was it A, a debilitating social awkwardness, B, a profound fear of the dark, C, a speech impediment, or D, ADHD? Uh, no, it was Roots 2, Roots 2 Electric Boogaloo. uh, Dennis says hemorrhoids, E. Keithy said thrash syndrome. Is that where you master information that no one else cares about? What can I say? I drink and I know things. Who said that? $5 says Emily doesn't get it. And that's not me being mean either. That's when you hear what the answer is, you'll understand. And John Doe says fear of yogurt. Are we starting with the yogurt thing again? Do we eat hot yogurt or cold yogurt? I like frozen yogurt. Oh, Mrs. Thrash is back. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. And Mickey says speech impediment and diabetes, which my wife and I suffer from presently. I am so sorry. I am so very, very sorry. And yes, it was in fact a speech impediment, by the way. In fact, interesting side note. Oh, one I just want to read. Tug says his voice was musical because he could only overcome his stuttering by singing his words. I'm sure a lot of you know. Yes, yes, he did something. I had a modest speech impediment when I was younger. It wasn't particularly modest, but I like to. My modesty forbids I actually make a big deal about it. As you guys see, every now and then it comes back too. It's I haven't quite mastered it, but one of the tricks that I used was I listened to a lot of radio when I was a kid because I've always been a music buff. And I found that if I talked like the DJs on the radio, that if I spoke very, very deliberately in their fashion, I found I spoke better. And somehow that worked for me. And actually, singing also does help. So even when I was a child and I would have trouble speaking, if I did chorus or something, I could sing very well. I could not sing well. Although opinion is divided. Mama Thrash swears before God that before my voice changed, when I was like 9 or 10, I had a very very pretty voice. When my voice, when they're like, here's your taco, Mister Period. When my voice changed, it never came back. In fact, I've even spoken to stage performers who say, "You just didn't need to. you needed to have remastered it. If I had actually gone to some type of singing classes, I probably 45 years ago, I probably could have gotten my singing voice back. But then again, why? I wasn't going to be a professional singer. But I digress. So yes, he would sing or read poetry, and but anything sort of musically related, anything with a sense of timing, uh, it gave him a better speech pattern. So yes, he it was a speech impediment. John Doe says, I'm thinking about making cannoli tomorrow. Make it with yogurt. Yogurt cannoli. Ooh, yogurt cannoli. I like that. I like that. And oh yeah, Tom McCluskey says 1 out of 10. Let's get some scores, folks. Zublik says 4 out of 9. Tracy says Greek yogurt. That's great for stomach issues, by the way. Tom says, I'm sorry. Tom, don't be sorry. I'm glad you could make it. I'm glad you could make it. And 257 has a halo. And Tom says, I'm a cannoli kind of guy. Holy cannoli. And Emily says, singing worked for Meltellis. And Tug says, you talk well now. Well, thank you. And Cindy says, DJs do announce every word. They do. It's very emphatic. And he says, you have a palatable lisp, Bob. Your tongue goes up too high occasionally. I'm going to read that again if I can. I'm going to read that again because it seems like you actually know what you're talking about. Well, when don't you? You have a palatal lisp. Your tongue goes up too high occasionally. Is that what causes it? Huh. I never give much thought. They did when I was a kid. They used to like actually make me my speech therapist would say touch your tongue to the back of your teeth. So I started when I spoke more consciously. I would I would feel for it and like words with like Christmas tree. I'd say Christmas tree. But if I push them my tongue further back, so you might be onto something there, bro. You might be onto something there. Mike got 70%. Excellent. Rachel is 9 out of 10. Face the Ace is here. Awesome. Face the Ace, welcome. You're just in time to not play trivia, but you can play it in replay if you want. I think I missed a few scores. Oh yeah. Emily is 7 for 10. Wajimina is 7 for 10. Tug is 6 for 10. Tracy is 24 for 10. Cindy's a good one. Tracy, time to change. He hated. They exploited him. I lost. I didn't see who exactly there, but whoever it was, very sorry for that. Oh, Peter Brady. Peter Brady. Oh yes, when it's time to change, you have to rearrange. Ted got 7 out of 10. Excellent. Emily says people say when I read aloud, I sound like a flight attendant. There are in fact no exits. Tracy says LOL to Cindy. 257 says I'm singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. Tracy corrected. Oh, she said fight before. And you know what? I read flight. So there you go. Keith E is 5 of 10. Excellent. John Doe says cannoli cream is just ricotta cheese and sugar. Maybe mix some heavy cream whipped into real whipped cream. That could work. Zublik says cold. And Face the Ace is speaking in laughing emojis. Awesome. And awesome to you too. And he says to Tug or a Dick Tracy villain. Cindy says, I don't even remember my partial score, LOL. Now just give yourself 10 points. And we're all friends here. And a lot of people saying hi to Face. Denny says, I'm lost again. You get used to it after a while. And Tug says, I thought it was mascarpone. I did too. But I don't make the cannoli. Well, I make the cannolis at De Palma, but I don't make the cream. We have them in like those that big like bag of plastic. and squeeze the cream into the cannoli crust. We don't even make our own cannoli crust. We don't. We get boxes of cannoli crust tubes, which I think is weak. If you're gonna have cannoli, you really should make your own cannoli crusts. As long as we don't have a fryer later. And Face the Ace is saying hello to everyone, and hello to you again. And he says, Tug, he took out Bugs Moran. Uh, Capone, yes. And Emily says, Cindy, we'll give you a score of 100%. We certainly will. We certainly will. Zen Zublik says, do you have it? Is it safe? And Jones Doe says, Mars Capone is a substitute. We use Mars Capone. And 257 says, Geek Hobgoblins. Hobgoblins, of course, is also done on MST3K. And Tom says, half my weight comes from cannolis. And Tug says, perfect scores for everyone. There you go. Perfect scores for everyone. And Cindy says, I'll look at the replay. And wow, we just jumped. But Geek says, 207 says, Geek, have you seen Dark Knight of the Scarecrow? Dark Knight of the Scarecrow is one of my favorite Halloween movies of all time. Not just because I like Charles Durning. Everything I've ever seen them in, I think is great, or at least he's great in it. But I must have been, I think I was like 12, and I was visiting. My father had come up, so I was having a visit in Plymouth. My paternal grandparents lived in Plymouth, so I was up visiting him, and it was Halloween weekend, and my cousins and I, my grandfather had a finished basement. We were downstairs watching scary movies, and uh, saw Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, and I fell in love with that movie, and I didn't see it for years, but it's on YouTube again. It's a great movie. I highly recommend it, and I love the twist ending. And to answer your question, yes, I love it. I don't know if Geek does, but I certainly do. I think I saw that the same night I saw Battle Truck, but I can't recall. And Tug says, "Leave the gun, take the cannoli." I have another anecdote. Thank you, Doug. Okay, I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but when I was in college years ago, my fraternity brothers and myself, one year decided that we were going to model ourselves after The Godfather, um, for laughs. We had the guy whose name was Tom was Tom. Mike was Mike. Steve, the president of the fraternity, he was the Godfather. The crazy Bob, not me, another crazy Bob. He was Sonny, and you'll never guess what they assigned to me. I was Clemenza. Haven't thought of that in over 30 years. I graduated in 91. Haven't thought of it in 30 years. I'm going through the restaurant last night. It's wicked, wicked busy. We're getting slammed. I'm walking through the bar, and there's a group of guys who are sitting at like one of the bar tables, having a drink while they wait for their table to open up. And as I walk by, one of them goes, Clemenza. And it didn't register at first. And then I realized they're talking to me, and I froze, and I go, and I turn around, I'm looking at the guy like, do I know you? And I'm like, the blank you just call me? I'm like, and he goes, oh, you look like Clemenza. And I'm like, and I off the cuff, I'm like, so taken. I'm like, 30 plus years ago, they nicknamed me Clemenza. And I hadn't thought of it again until, well, I mean, I had told a few people over the years, and when we watched The Godfather and stuff. But anyway, yeah, last night somebody actually called me Clemenza, and I'm like, he couldn't possibly have known. I'm looking at the guy, I'm like, were we in school together? I'm like, "Whatever." But yes, thank you. And he says, by the way, Bob, a parting torture on my way out. Both George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush have documented quotes about Jones having the most famous voice in America. Mwahaha! Peace out, Indy. Love you, man. Thank you. So anyone who said George Senior to that question, actually, you know what? Everyone, give yourself the presidential question. I'm feeling generous tonight. Uh, and Cindy says James Earl Jones, the voice in the movies Whitney Houston, is the voice in music. Um, let's just see here. Jundo says, put the cheese in the cheesecloth and weigh it all overnight, and then your powdered sugar. Then you want to mix in the whipped cream if you want thrash. Zibuk says, okay, this is getting off on the wrong foot. Which one? The college story or the I can't remember what the other story was. 2007 says, who's Pearl Harvey? Good day. That's probably an MST3K quote, but he was a guy who told anecdotes on the radio. My grandfather loved him. And Denny says, "Told you I'm old, Paul Harvey. Google it for the rest of the story. The rest of the story segments. A lot of what he would do was he would tell a story about a person and not tell you who they were, and they had this very, very, very interesting story. And then at the end, he'd be like, "Oh, and by the way, that little person was blah blah blah, Chuck Norris." He actually did one on Chuck Norris. Now that I think of it, Palms anybody? Cindy says on the good foot. Emily says Zuplix. This chat is like a centipede. It has many foots. Yes, it does have many foots. Zuplix says Clemenza with a beard. Well, yes, I do have a beard, and Clemenza did not. But Tug says, "Wow, who is Paul Harvey? No offense, but wow." And Tom says, "Watched Killdozer recently." Zibble says the idea of mimicking mobsters. I wasn't mimicking them. I was just, hey, forget about it. And Teb says, I gotta go now. Hope you'll have a good Sunday night. You as well, Teb. Hey, thank you so much for joining us, by the way. We missed you last week. We're glad you could make it this week. And 257 says, Thomas, it's an awful as opposed to a waffle. Oh my gosh, John H is here. I'm sorry, everyone. A lot of people saying good night to Ted, but John H is here. I remember hearing Paul Harvey's wrestling story back in high school 40 years ago. Indeed. John H says too many youngsters here. And with a wink. And 207 says, don't watch City Limits uncut. Well, you can, you just drift away in certain scenes. But John H is always several winks and smiles. And a lot of people saying hello to John. Anywho, actually, at this point, we're getting towards 9 o'clock here, and you guys know that 9 o'clock is my bedtime. Mondays are always my big day, so I usually crash a little early. I try to anyway. But Keys says Paul Harvey's son. Paul Harvey's. I'm guessing it's Paul. It says Cal, but Paul Harvey's son took over and bombed. That's a shame. That really is a shame. But anyway, I want to thank all of you guys for showing up tonight. I had so much fun, as always. And all kidding aside, the corrections and the oopses and the gaffes is all part of the fun. As long as you guys still think it's fun. And I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. I do have a couple of ideas for posts this week. I don't want to give the game away because I find that, if I sit down and make a post, I'm like, well, I was going to do this one, but I'm more in the mood to do this one. Like, I was going to do a creepy classic today, but I'm going to do a behind the scenes story instead. So I will probably have at least 2 posts this week, but I'm not going to tell you which ones they are. And anyway, it seems like a lot of people are saying goodnight to one another. Apparently, most of you are like me, and it's like wrap it up. So that's what again. I want to thank all you guys for showing up. I really do. I look forward to these things all week. I really do. It was funny. The other day, well, actually, a couple weeks ago, my boss asked me if I could work Sunday. He said, "I'll give you a different day off just for this 1 week," and I'm like, "I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I couldn't. I can't give up my Sundays. It's a non-issue now because the restaurants are going to be closed on Sundays for a while. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for all showing up tonight. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Well, you know the saying: if you had half as much fun as I did, then I had twice as much fun as you. And until next time, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.